Hey guys, what's up? Kyle here. So, the day has finally come. You can see that little yellow cable there coming out of my computer. I have installed 10 gigabit into the setup. So, I started out, I kind of wanted to play around with it. By the way, 10 gigabit is actually really cheap. The most expensive part of it is the switch, which I'm not using. So I decided I wanted to uh, put in some 10 gigabit stuff because I originally intended to put it in this NAS because I didn't feel like I got fast enough transfer speeds, but the array actually went down. Two of those drives failed, so that means that I kind of lost all my data. I still haven't had the time to play around with it, or the energy really. Uh, but yeah, I wanted to put in 10 gigabits, so I picked out two Ethernet cards, which I'll show you my parts list. But I picked out two cards, got it all ordered, and here it is today. So let's go over to my computer where I have the card. Move my monitor. So you can see inside there's the card. It's a server card, so I actually have a fan blowing on it because normally there's no ventilation there. And then here's the back of the computer. So it just actually plugs into a 10 gigabit SFP Plus transceiver, which looks like this. This is LC type. These are actually the most expensive part. I already had some of these laying around from a friend who I originally actually wanted 1 gigabit, and he accidentally gave me 10 gigabit and just said keep them. So I had these. These are usually I see it like the least I've seen them for is $30 a piece, but those specific ones usually go for upwards of 50. So, but yeah, I had those, and so I ordered two transceivers and this cable, which my cat has already dug into. It barely works, so I'm gonna have to order another cable. So yeah, it goes into the transceiver, goes behind my bookshelf. You can see it in the corner there. It actually just lines the bottom of the I forget what it's called. It's the little wood thing here that goes along the side of the room. It just goes along. It's got a little bit of a bundle. I ordered extra cable because I figured if I ever move my computer anywhere or if I move houses, I won't have to buy it again, but I'm still gonna have to buy it again. And then here, let's get a good angle. So there's the 10 gig card right in there, along with the two bonded normal gigabit NICs for any other devices in the house. So I'm pretty much running a stand. This R220, there we go, has a Intel Xeon E3 1231 V3 in it, 8 gigs of RAM, and two crucial 250 gigabyte SSDs in it, in a RAID 0 array. So I have nice transfers. I've actually been testing with a RAM disk. So these 10 gig adapters, which I kind of expected, won't actually do like the full 10 gigabits per second, but it'll do upwards of like 900 megabytes per second. So 9 gigabits per second around. So yeah, definitely worth it in my opinion, because I could nowhere near match that with normal gigabit NICs. So neither would I want to. So actually, so yeah, you get the point. It runs here behind the bookshelf from the server to the computer. No switch or anything, because the switches actually usually cost around like $700 on eBay used just to get those. You can get a 48 port switch with two 10 gigabit uplinks. It's called the Quanta LB4M. It has two 10 gigabit uplinks on it, but I already have a switch and I don't want to be wasting a whole bunch of electricity on powering it, because it's a data center switch, so it's designed to have all sorts of stuff. So yeah, we will cut over to my desktop now. Okay, so here I'm on the remote desktop of the server. You can see it here, and if I go to Open Network and Sharing Center, here is the camera. So it's just labeled as Ethernet 5. You can see it runs at 10 gigabits per second, and it's sent so much data from all my testing and transfers already. I actually just got it in today. I was so excited I didn't take any pictures beforehand, but yeah, or do any video. But now I'm doing a video, so at least I'm doing one. So pretty much the setup you're going to want to do is, since my network is 192.168.1. And the ID or address or part of the address, so it's 1.0. I set this to actually 100.0 so that it gets out of the range that Windows can actually communicate with the gigabit. So it pretty much forces my computer to communicate with the server over 10 gigabit, and it also should automatically detect it even if this doesn't work. So no DNS servers, no default gateway, because this is completely offline. It's what they call a SAN, which is Storage Area Network. So that's how that is. I set my server address to 10.2 or 100.2, and then I have, this is just for Hyper-V, but I also have shared my my C drive, which has all the storage on it. So if you go to advanced sharing and then permissions, you can see my account is there as shared. I should actually add another account. There we go. Apply. So that's just sharing it over SMB3. So there's that, and that pretty much turns the server into a NAS or a SAN. NAS for anybody on the normal network, SAN for me and my computer. So this is just my Synology. Get out of that, and we will go to the configuration that I have. So here I pretty much have the same configuration in Network and Sharing Center, except this one's 100.1. So that's pretty simple. I didn't have to go into the host file or anything. Once I did that, I tested a transfer and I got 500 megabytes per second read and write. So it works pretty well. And I did have to install the Mellanox driver because Windows Server has the Mellanox driver, but for some reason Windows 10, it couldn't find it on like their driver search thing. So I had to download it off of the website. It's pretty easy to find if you just search Mellanox ConnectX-2 Ethernet driver. Then it'll bring you right to the page. So yeah, there's that. Really, no more configuration is needed. I did mount it. I need to disconnect that. But you can see I mounted it in here, home-server, and it automatically picked it up. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I also use the server for rendering videos like this one. It's actually something I've been trying out. I haven't released a video that's rendered on the server yet. You can see the Creative Cloud stuff. But I'm hoping to actually render this video on the server. And yeah, that's that. So let's go into the hardware that I used. I started off with this, which is lot of 2 HP branded Ethernet NICs which are 10 gig. These are PCIe X8, it looks like, and they only have one port on them. You can see that. So 73 sold. So it's also, the brand that I trust is called Aceso Inc. It's where I got my Poweredge R220. They are super helpful. If you have any tech questions, just call them and they'll answer them for you. They're based in Los Angeles. Just amazing company. So yeah, got pretty fast shipping. And yeah, that's that. So it comes with two, so you can pretty much create your own sound for $36 if you exclude the cables. Yeah, it's PCIe 2.0, but it'll still be just fine. Now, the cable I looked at, let me just search for it. I forget where I put it. There it is. Okay, so here's this. It's, the listing has ended, but here's the cable I used. It's a 10-meter cable. Let's just search this on eBay because I'm sure they redid it. There's so many cables on eBay. I mean, this one will do just fine. This one works. It's just a patch cable. It's single mode. It doesn't matter because, well, in my opinion, don't quote me on this, but for me it doesn't really seem to matter because it's such a short distance. The difference between single mode and multi-mode doesn't really matter. I believe I'm using multi-mode transceivers, and this is single mode cable, so it's working just fine for me. Not sure if it'll work for you though, so you do have to do a little bit of research in it. But yeah, that's the cable, and if you want to, you can search for SFP plus transceivers. So this one's being sold for 60. Oh, this one's even, oh, that's 1 gigabit. All of these kind of are. Juniper 10 gig, $40. So they, this is where it kind of gets expensive. This is 2 gigabit. Finisar, this is the one that yeah, this is one of them. This same brand, Finisar. This is the type of transceiver. So they are sold for somewhat cheap if you want to, if you want, oh no, that's just normal SFP. You just be careful not to order the wrong things because SFP and SFP plus are not intercompatible. So if you try to put an SFP plus transceiver into an SFP slot, it won't register. So just be careful of that. There's new ones, old ones. Like I said, it's pretty simple when you think about it. The switches though, so Quanta LB4Ms are usually sold for around $100. You can see this one. This one's sold $273. So if you want to be pretty much guaranteed, basically Amazon. It looks like it also comes with the transceivers too. Yeah. Switch is fully functional. Dual power supplies, yeah, so it does come with transceivers. So you're kind of actually getting a deal because it comes with 2 transceivers for it. And say each transceiver is $40. You're saving $5 and you get it all in one package too. So, but you could get the switch itself for $99. This one's a good buy. 38 sold, so you know it's reliable. They also have the Quanta. If you really want to go out of your way and get like full upgrade everything to 10 gigabit, you could get the Quanta LB6M, which is a full 10 gigabit switch. This uses SFP plus connectors, so this one's selling for $700, which is a pretty good deal actually. you can see it has 24 10 gigabit SFP plus and 4 10 gigabit just normal Cat 6, and 2 management, which are probably just normal gigabit. So this is the data center switch that I was talking about. So usually they come with dual power supplies because they're pulled straight from a data center. They have enough configuration from what I've seen. They have enough of a configuration page to configure it with whatever you want. They have, of course, VLANs and everything you need. So there's that. It's pretty much, there's also the Netgear switches. So if you want to buy a new switch, you can, for around $800, you can buy the Netgear XS712T, I believe. I'm not sure. It starts with an XS, but it's a 12-port normal copper 10 gigabit switch. So copper seems to run more expensive because it's easier to buy stuff for, because all you need is a Cat 6 cable instead of fiber, which is probably why you if you search for a 10 gigabit NIC, there's so many on eBay. All it'll come up with is either ones that you don't want, like this is yeah, the stuff you don't want. All the cheap ones are the SFP plus ones, but the expensive ones are the copper. So you really gotta weigh like what do you want to work with. The LB4M also has copper connectors on it, but either way, direct attach cables also work for short distances. I didn't use it because, like I said, I have the SFP plus transceivers, and the fiber cable is only $7 on eBay, and it works great, just saying. So yeah, let's try to, anyway, so that's the hardware, and we'll do a transfer right now. So I'll just go into any random folder and we'll paste it, and you can see I'm getting a pretty steady around 500 megabytes per second. Okay, I used really crappy SSDs in the RAID 0 array on the server, which is probably why it dips down at the end. We'll see if we can replicate that. Yeah, 500 megabytes per second. 500. Yeah, and I am copying from the RAM disk, so that's nothing on my side. This is a RAM disk. But yeah, 500 is definitely okay for me, and we're actually peaking the we're definitely peaking the RAID 0 SSDs that are on the server. I think also part of the reason that it's dipping down in the end is because it's the BIOS RAID card that the Dell R220 has. Also, highly recommend Dell for servers. I didn't realize it, but they actually have this thing called a lifecycle controller, and if you want to load something like Windows Server, you don't actually need to download any drivers. You actually just plop the CD or USB drive that has Windows Server on, like the installer on it, and then you go into the lifecycle controller and you select install or deploy OS, and you follow the steps, and it'll automatically load the drivers before you even install, which is really cool, because that I'm so used to the super micro servers and stuff where they don't have anything like that. You have to download the drivers manually and worry about it as you're installing. But I literally installed Windows Server 2012 within 20 minutes. It was just amazing in my opinion. So that's a little off topic, but I felt I needed to share that if you are in the market for a new server. So that's pretty much my setup. You can also, I had a budget of $50 and I fit within that budget. You could probably get it done within a budget of $100, because like I said, I have the transceivers, so that dropped the cost a whole bunch. But yeah, keep your eyes open on eBay. There's always good deals. Aceso Inc., good company to buy from. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Leave a comment if you liked it. Do whatever you want to do on YouTube. Have some fun.